The daring plans of the escape and the hardships and the risks that Subhash underwent from the moment he left his Calcutta home at the dead of night in the garb of a Muslim divine. His incognito travel by rail up to Peshawar and then by road to Kabul. The suspense and tension of the waiting there before the Italian embassy arranged his journey to Berlin via Moscow. These add up to a thrilling drama which has been graphically described by his Kabul host Uttam Chand in his monograph entitled When Bose Was Ziauddin. When Subhash Bose reached Germany in his quest for an armed assistant to dislodge British from India, Herr Hitler was at the height of his power. It was no easy task for Subhash to persuade Germany to treat him as a top-ranking representative of the Indian nation. He ultimately won Hitler regime's respect for his firm determination to liberate his country from the British yoke by taking the aid of Britain's enemies without any strings attached. He had to overcome formidable obstacles before he could accomplish formation of the first Azad Hind Fauj, Free India Army on German soil from the Indian prisoners of war brought to Germany from various European and Middle East war theatres. This was the beginning of the realization of his dream of winning India's freedom through an armed fight against the British. The story of this heroic effort of Subhash Bose to draw the sword against the British, who were holding India in slavery by the sword, is narrated in fascinating detail by N.G. Gunpule in his book Netaji in Germany, a little known chapter. Even during the course of the war, Herr Hitler talked of coming to terms with England. It was therefore doubly difficult for Subhash Bose to change this attitude of Herr Hitler into a friendly gesture towards India, which was engaged in a fight against England for her own freedom. However, with the enthusiastic and self-sacrificing services of Indians still residing in the Central Europe, and with the steadily growing cooperation of the Hitler regime, Subhash Bose succeeded in putting out regular and uncensored broadcasts over the German radio stations directed to India. Establishing a Free India organization was thus born on German soil in 1941. Civilians and soldiers who rallied to the cause of country's freedom under the banner of Subhash Chandra Bose spontaneously acclaimed him as their Neta, leader, and addressed him ever since as Netaji. It was one thing to form a Free India army in Germany in wartime, but it was totally a different, if not utterly impossible, proposition to take that army all the way from Europe to the northwestern gates of India to fight the British entrenched inside India. His golden opportunity came in December 1941 when the World War spread to the Pacific and Japan also ranged against Britain. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose immediately set about drawing up plans to reach East Asia and there to raise a Free India army from among the large Indian communities in Malaya, Singapore, Burma, and other regions of East Asia. If only the active and enthusiastic cooperation of the Japanese, Burmese, and other wartime governments in East Asia was assured, it would be much easier task to lead a Free India army massed on the Burma border to launch an attack on the British forces on the other side of Indian border and roll them back in Bengal and Assam. Such a spectacular achievement by an Indian army of liberation on the Bengal and Assam borders, he calculated, will lead to a countrywide uprising against the British regime.